It's pretty today. Michael's out getting ready. We have Camp Maddux next week, so he's already working over at camp. We have to set up 16 tents this weekend.
Oh, what fun.
Oh, what fun. Not me. That's not my job.
Lots of work.
Yeah, lots of work. Lots of work. But we have lots of
Okay.
help.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Super excited for this morning. Cindy Maddox, like always, we are going to hear her excitement about what she's going to share. Cindy, are you ready?
I am.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. And I just want to again reiterate what George said about looking in your back office and letting all of your people know that they've got all the specials and things going on and how they can take advantage of it. I had a couple of my girls call me last night and say, "Hey, I can get one of those $400 packages, even though they couldn't finish it. They couldn't get it because it was too close to the end of the month." You want to make sure you let them know. Anyways, my job today is to talk to you guys about building relationships, business relationships, as well as personal. I think we have some people that are not on mute. You guys mute yourselves. And so the key is that I built relationships in this industry for over 40 plus years. And being in the industry for that long period of time, I've been blessed to have a lot of those relationships that stayed with me, and a lot of them. And again, I've lost a lot of friends over the last. It's probably the last 10 years, specifically because of the ages that we were when I joined the industry. I felt like I was a baby, and they felt like they were, in the middle part of their life and what they were looking for. And so I got to take advantage of a lot of knowledge and wisdom from a lot of the people that I had started building relationships with. Even as some of the biggest speakers in the industry, I was always the person who got there early. I was always the person who got there and volunteered to help. And I remember when we had a bunch of major speakers and some of their stuff hadn't showed up, and I said, "Oh my gosh!" I used to go down to the lobby every single morning because I always shared rooms with all the girls, and I would go to the lobby and I would write in my journal. And if you guys do not partake in journal writing, I highly suggest that you start, because I've been able to go back to my journal for the years past, 40 plus, 45 plus years, and I've been able to glean from those books, from that messages, and from the people that were the biggest in the industry back then. And now a lot of them are gone. But what I did is I built those relationships that were no, they were just a big part of my life. A lot of you guys are looking at, I'm starting this business. Now I'm going to be talking to my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, my brother, I'm going to tell you something, you guys. Those are probably not going to be the biggest friendships that you will build in this industry. They're family. Those are people that they're ours no matter what. I tell them whether you like it or not. If I'm going to share with you, I'm going to share with you. But the best relationships that I have built in my lifetime have been with perfect strangers, people that walked into a place, that came in because they were looking for an opportunity, or they were looking for a way to change the course of their life because their health was not they had not prioritized their life back then. And I can tell you now, with all that I've been going through, I'm telling you what, if you don't prioritize your life will prioritize it for you, with the lack of things that you can or cannot do. But one of the things that I found is, and I did very well. I have to say, I worked a couple of the businesses that George was participating in for just probably a minute, because he understood the compensation plan. And back then, I listened to what other people said. And I was a leader, so I had to stand in front of the room and tell people what they wanted me to tell them. And I'm going to tell you guys right now looking back, because I had so many people that followed me because they trusted me, and those people are going to trust you. So with having the ability to give them the knowledge and wisdom that we have right now with three, that's a whole different story, because they can, for the first time, you guys, in this industry, I believe that anybody is capable of being at the front of the room. I've seen it. I didn't see it before. And I didn't see it in a lot of the other compensation plans where I would stand in front of the room and think, wow, this is not fun. This is not fun because it's just about me and it's not about them. And yet they were the ones that helped me get there. And then I couldn't just drag them up on stage with me because they hadn't done what other people had already done. And they were thinking, oh, it's so hard, Cindy. I just can't do that. Well, because we had built those relationships and we had gone from one company that went away to the next company and the next company, and all of a sudden I had all these people that trusted me. And when 3 came along, you guys, I had just lost my company that I loved. I loved my leaders, I loved my people, I loved my team. And the reason why is because I was able to help people change their lives with the product line that we had. And I've always been in an industry where I've done products. I've done nutritional wellness from day one. I never ever was selling those credit cards. I wasn't selling those little tablets you put in the gas tank. I wasn't selling anything other than I wasn't selling crypto. I wasn't selling anything other than nutritional wellness. Why? Because I believed that I could make a difference and I had seen it. And when you have people that are broken and all of a sudden you come along with the glue that's going to help put them back together again. I used to tell everybody Humpty Dumpty's sitting on the wall and he had a big fall, but how many of you guys can honestly say that your product line will help put Humpty Dumpty back together again? I believe and I know that we can do that with 3. Why? Because of Dr. Goobler. Secondly, because I know the products work and because I can sell benefits. If I stand in front of a room and I sell the benefits and you trust me, and I want you to trust me, okay, I want you to believe in me because I am your friend. I am a mutual contact. I'm your classmate. I'm somebody that you found on Facebook and you were desperate that morning. You were praying for me to show up in your life, and I did. And that's what I used to tell people. There are people out there praying for you right now. They're praying for an answer to their woes, and all of a sudden your name pops up and you're like, oh my gosh, do I call them? Do I call them? I wrote their name down. I saw that they weren't sleeping again last night, but what do I say to them? You get on the phone or you get on there and you text them and say, hey, Carol, I saw that you were not sleeping again last night. How's that working for you? Okay, I have something you might want to try, and I even have a couple of samples I can get to you right away. Is that something you want to do, or do you want to live like that for the rest of your life? Because all I see is complain, complain, complain about what a miserable life you're living because you can't sleep, you can't get things prioritized. And the nice thing about you guys going out there and building relationships with people, when something comes up and they trust you or they get desperate, you're the first person they're going to call. Why? Because they keep seeing you or they keep hearing from you. Somebody says, well, I called them one time and they didn't even answer me. They didn't even send me back a text. Okay, I'm going to tell you something. If every single grocery store out there was placing an ad and you didn't see that ad and you showed up at the other grocery store and all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I didn't know they had steak over there for 99 cents a pound and you guys have it for $4.99. Why didn't you tell me? You're my friend and you went and got a whole case and you left me behind. Why didn't you tell me? All of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, okay? It's the same with our business. If you guys know that there's something out there that's good for somebody, why aren't you telling them? Why aren't you letting them understand that these are the benefits, these are the perks, these are the whys as to why people are going to believe you, they're going to trust you. And I said, I'm getting ready for camp and I've been doing all my ordering of my food and all the things that we have to have for 60 people. We have 60 to 70 people for every single meal. Okay. And thank goodness my sister's a missionary in Mexico and she's bringing her team over to cook for Camp Maddux because her sister is broken. And from most of you guys that were on the trip with me, you saw me walking around or pushing around a walker. It got worse from leaving that event. I was on an airplane flight home and I got pushed off a ramp and ended upside down on that ramp. And it was pretty sad because it was the opposite side of the part of my body that was already already miserable. So when people say, "Oh gosh, what are you going to do, Cindy?" I'm taking my products every day. I'm talking to people about why I take those products every day. I am building relationships every single day. How many of you guys, okay, know that you have a friend who's got a situation or a problem, even if it's financial, and you haven't said one word to them? You haven't even told them that you are in business. You have not put the open, open, open sign on your business because all of a sudden you're keeping it a secret until you feel like you have enough confidence to tell them. And yet they've been praying for you every single day. And guess what? Somebody else is going to answer their prayers. Somebody else is going to say, "Hey, George, you know what? I heard you weren't doing so good. I heard you were having some issues with your back. There's some products out here. We have this product called Revive. It might help you." Well, he's been praying for help. He's been asking, and he's your friend too. But guess what? George, the person who answers those prayers, the person who steps up and says, "Hey, okay, George, there's this stuff you need to try," likelihood that's the person that's going to be making that sale. And yet you're sitting back there going, "Well, darn it, I could have called him, or I could have texted him, or I could have sent him a message," but you didn't. Okay. So when I was laughing about my business and reading through my journals. And I'm going to tell you something. I live in one of the most beautiful places in the world. Okay. Not only my backyard, but I live in the central coast of California. And we have the whole beachfront that goes from all the way to Santa Barbara, all the way to San Francisco. We have all this beachfront area. And Avila Beach happens to be my heritage. So they were talking about the best 3 places in California that you could go to this summer, and Avila Beach was one of them. Well, it just so happened that my great-great-grandfather was the founder of Avila Beach. My mother is an Avila. So that kind of made me happy. I thought, wow, another thing that I can talk about. I can talk about my great-great-grandfather. Okay. And I've only been to Avila Beach once in the last 10 years, you guys, but I'm going to go to Avila Beach next week. Okay. Just because I haven't been there. But I'm going to tell you something. Right now, there are a lot of different events going on everywhere. And guess what? They have some major events going on in Avila Beach. But when I started building my business out of my area, and I want you guys to understand how valuable this information is, I used to Google 120 miles from my house. Okay. I wanted to know in a 90-mile radius or 120-mile radius, how many people, what was the population in that area? And it was millions of people, millions. I had Bakersfield, California. I had Fresno, Tulare, Hanford, all these different places, along with our whole Central Coast, which was about 350,000 people. And I'm sitting here going, okay, and we have nobody to talk to, right? We have nobody that's going to listen to us, right? We have nobody out there that's broken. Well, of course we do. But again, guess what? If you're not the one that's going to go out there and start communicating with people, other people will. So I literally, in a day's time, I listened to somebody sharing a message the other day. Do you guys know that you can walk into a hotel and you can sit in the lobby all day long if you want to? You can be meeting people all day long. You can have people that are coming to that hotel where you can actually go in. And if that's what makes you feel more comfortable, sitting around doing your phone calls, doing whatever. I used to go to Bakersfield. I'd get there at 6:30 in the morning. I'd leave at 4 from my house at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'd get to Bakersfield and I would work Bakersfield for 24 hours. Okay. It ended up being the largest part of my organization. In less than 4 months, I had over 300 distributors in that area. Now, why? I posted a couple little ads. Back then, we didn't have what we have now. I said, there's this new technology, this disruptive technology. I will be at this location. Please come and see me. Please come and get a free scan. Please come and say hello to Cindy. I will be sitting in the lobby, or I will be sitting in the restaurant. And I would go to the restaurant. I asked the manager at the restaurant, I said, what would it take for me to buy that table in the corner over there? It seats 10 people. And they go, what do you mean buy the table? And they'd say, well, I said, I'm going to be here all day and I would love to have that table. And he goes, well, you just have to buy a meal. And I said, not, well, I will do this. I'm going to buy 3 meals and I'm going to sit in the corner and I'm going to use that table. I just want to make sure that nobody's going to come and throw me out of here. the manager of the restaurant came over and he said, absolutely. He said, we love, because then other people would come and they would order a lunch or they would order a soda or they would order something, an iced tea. And I would be sitting there talking to people after people after people after people after people. And everybody was like, oh my gosh. And they would be waiting in line because this disruptive technology was going to change their life. It was going to change their practice. It was going to change what they were doing because all of a sudden we had a way to measure, okay, whether or not products were working. Well, I believe that you have that same ability with what Dr. Gubler has put together with 3 International. Why? Because we can measure. We have people that can see the benefits of that product. Now, do I have to tell you every single molecule, every single ingredient in there? No, I can just tell you if you take it, it's going to work. Okay. And if you take it every single day, I tell people this all the time. They'll walk up and say, oh my God, you don't take all of that, do you? And I said, I only take it on the days I want to live. Those are the only days that I take all of this stuff. Those are the days that I will take it. And they'll come up and they'll go, well, what is it? And I said, funny, you should ask. That's why I'm here. I'm helping to educate the people in this area about a new technology, a disruptive technology that we can actually take to the marketplace and we can measure, okay, and let you understand the benefits of this product. If you know anybody that's not doing so well right now, I'm going to tell you, the reason why I chose that area, you guys, had the worst air quality in all of California. The worst air quality. Now, if you knew that you had an oxygenative product, that you had a product that could go in and help to oxygenate the cells, and you knew that you walked in there, and I could Google and show on my phone that the worst place to live in the state of California was where I was sitting that day, all of a sudden people started to listen. I said, what are you doing to stop all of those things that your body is taking in every single day? All of those things that are killing you, that are causing all of these diseases, what are you doing to stop that? And they're like, well, I take vitamin. I said, no, no, no. What are you doing to stop that process? What are you doing? Well, I don't know. I guess you're going to tell me, right? And I said, I'm going to. I said, and here's the deal. I guarantee you, okay, that if you listen, okay, that you will learn enough to understand that I said every single one of you guys that opened your mouth this morning, okay, you have free radical damage. You already have free radicals that are just ingesting our body. We opened our mouth and now we don't have any of our vitamins and minerals yet working in our body. So I always tell everybody, everybody's rusting. So you want to put enough good stuff in there to stop yourself from rusting. Okay. And the key is that everybody, I don't care if you're running, you're jogging, you're working out, if you're the waitress that's in the hotel, or if you're the person behind every single one of you that opens your mouth, you're already rusting. You want to put and neutralize all those free radicals. And that's what we do with nutrition and wellness. We're neutralizing the free radicals that are literally causing people to get disease. And I said, when your body is diseased, okay, that's the key, is making sure that you are doing things that are helping you to be proactive in your wellness. And I literally, you guys, once a week for over a year and a half, I drove to Bakersfield and I would sit in the lobby of the same hotel. I would find out when they had big women's meetings there. I would find out when they had big church events there. And I would go to the biggest hotel in that area and I would work that hotel. I had all my stuff sitting there waiting for me. I had all the things that I was going to take. And if I was going to take it, I was going to talk. If I wasn't going to sit there in the corner and just kind of watch everybody go by, I was going to let people know why I was there. Okay. And I was going to let them know that I had something that could probably help them living in the worst air quality place in the state of California. And then I would give them the second worst place. Do you know anybody in that place? Do you know anybody in this place? Do you know anybody in this place? The worst air quality in California. And I'm so lucky that I live on the coast, that I have all that nice ocean breeze. And they were like, oh my gosh, I would do anything to live on the coast over there. I said, well, I'm going to tell you something. I have a bunch of realtor friends of mine that are selling some condo complexes. And I said, I'm going to tell you something. If you did what I did, you could probably afford to buy one. And they were like, oh, what do you do? I said, I'm doing exactly what you see I'm doing. I'm just sharing with you an opportunity to do something proactive. And back then we just said, you're either going to be proactive or you're going to be reactive. Okay. You just have to decide which one it's going to be. Your body's going to be reactive to a lot of the things all the things that are, as we age, it gets worse. Oh my goodness, guys, it gets worse. I felt horrible at the conference that I couldn't do what I normally do. I felt miserable that I just couldn't go up and be happy and talk to everybody because my body hurt so bad, but I didn't want to miss it. And I had not ever missed a conference that I had been a part of in the whole history of my network marketing. People were like, Cindy, you're crazy. Why are you doing that? You need to stay home and rest. And I said, all the leaders will be at that event. All the people that are building their business will be at that event, and I don't want to miss it. And you guys, I'm telling you, even at the back part of the room, I still didn't want to miss it. Sitting at the side, I didn't want to miss it. Walking around with I called it an old people push cart. I had to walk around with a walker, but I said a walker, and somebody goes, well, get one of those little riding things, I said, are you kidding? I'm dangerous right now. I said, forget it. I don't want to run into people. No, I'll just stay where I'm at. But I'm going to tell you something, guys. As you continue to build your relationships, and I want you to think about this, there's these things out there. They're called oil wells. They're called oil wells. In this industry, you guys, every single time you sponsor somebody in the business, you have now sponsored somebody that can go out and create their own little oil well. Doesn't matter where they're living. It doesn't matter if they live in your backyard, if they live across country because of the e-commerce and all the different ways that you can use AI to build those networks across the globe. Across the globe. You guys, 24/7, you have the opportunity to be pumping out the oil with those little tiny, pumping out that Etranel, pumping out that Vitalite, all those little things, those little tiny oil wells that are working for you every single day. I used to take pictures on my way to Bakersfield because on my way to Bakersfield, there were over 350 oil wells. And I would stop alongside the road. And if you guys look in my phone, as God is my witness, I have oil wells, pictures of oil wells in my phone. And every single time I would go, I said, I'm going to go find me a new oil well. I'm driving over there. I'm driving sometimes by myself, but I'm going to go find myself a new oil well. And I would laugh and I'd think, okay, somebody's walking in the door. That could be my new oil well, and I can help them. I know that I can help them find some oil wells themselves, because if I just teach to teach and you reach one to teach one, you guys, that is all network marketing is reaching one to teach one. You go out and you find somebody that needs your help or that wants your help, or don't drag them and bag them. I used to say, you know what, those people, if they're not ready, just give them a product. Let them try it. Let them use it. Let them complain about it. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. I would say, you know what, when you're ready to get serious about either helping people or making money, I've lived at the same residence my whole life. And until just a year ago, I had the same phone number for over 50 years. So people couldn't say, well, I couldn't find you. Well, let's see. I've been sitting on the same ranch for almost 50 years. So you can find me if you're looking for me. You can find me if you really need to find me. Okay. So the other thing is that all of you take the time to get on the phone and start thinking, if I just Google today where I live, and I want you to think about this as well, for every single 500, okay, for every single 500 people in your community, you need an oil well. You need an oil well. You need another little junction of people that are out there marketing your products for every 500 people. Just remember that. Somebody said, and then I said, well, we can get even better and we can do it with 50, because 50 people taking your products is just as good. But I'm going to tell you something. When you Google and you have millions of people and you just think, how many times does 500 go into a million? That's how many little oil wells you could be putting out there, just pumping 24 hours a day, saying when they want to say it, doing it when they want to doing it, giving out those little taster tests that now everybody's doing with Kinetic. And it doesn't matter. You know what? You are not their business. They are their own business. You are not responsible for whether people say yes or no. And you are not responsible for whether or not people get out of bed. They want to get through the training. And I would tell everybody, if I told you in order to be successful that you had to go through a training program for the next 30 days and you could be at the top of the class, would you do it? Well, what do you mean 30 days, Cindy? Gosh, that's a lot of time. And I said, do you guys understand people are willing to go to college for 4 years, spend $100,000 to get an education, and less than 5% actually work in the field they got trained in? Less than 5%. I have two godchildren, over $100,000 in education. One is now taking tickets at the movie theater, and the other one's living out of the country. Okay. Mom and dad wasted a lot of money, okay, trying to help get an education for that. So, anyways, just hang on. George, I think I'm past my time.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. Okay, well, very important. The relationships is very important that you say that. The cool thing that today with tools, you can do so many things.
Oh my gosh, everything.
Yes.
Everything.
Tomorrow, we are going to talk in social media. We are going to be talking about how to keep using for example, the new AI. And this afternoon at 11 o'clock Mountain Time, they're going
Awesome.
to have the training on the AI. Make sure you are there. Caroline, you have a comment. Go ahead. Oh, you're muted.
I'm trying to unmute.
Okay, you
My
are now.
fingers weren't doing it. Question I have for you, Cindy.
Yes.
Because my mentor that enrolled me here along in the other platform, but we're here now, he was in another company, and the gal that enrolled him originally was at a Starbucks.
Uh-huh.
And he became $1 million incomer at this other
That's
company.
right.
So
That's right.
and he didn't do it right away. But my question for you is, because that's very interesting. I like the platform, the idea, because I think I'm going to take that. But what did you have with you? I mean, I
I
might
had
have missed
everything.
it.
Okay, so when I would go to different locations, I made sure I had information with me. Where information goes, product flows. I would have some of the product containers. I would have things that I could hand them where they could actually go to a website. I would hand them my business card. I was giving out small samples. So I would give them a sample and say, look, I said, the only way I'm going to give you this sample is I need your name and your email, or your name and your phone number. I'm going to call you within 24 hours. I tell them I don't waste my money on giving something away where nobody sees the value. You have to get a value in there, you guys, because if I were to sit there and I had 100 of my samples to give away and I could give them all away in 3 hours, or it might have taken me 24 hours, I would have people walking through the lobby and they'd say, what are you selling? What are you doing? And I would have a little display set up, and people were, and especially when I was even in the restaurant, they were like, what is that? And I said, oh, funny you should ask. Funny you should ask. And I would say free, 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 free. I had a little thing that said free. I had a little thing that kind of swirled around for a while, and I was laughing because people, anything that you can use to get people's attention, they're like, what is that? And I would go to the dollar store, and they had these little dancing flowers. Little dancing flowers. I'm telling you guys, I would set it on the table. I'd make sure it was all ready to go, and I'd have little dancing flowers sitting on my table. And they were laughing, going, oh my gosh, where did you get that? Anytime you can get something out there where you can get somebody to strike up a conversation with you. And when I was working in the store, in the hotel lobby, I would literally contact two of the girls up at the front that I was giving free product to a little bit. I would give them like two or three, and I would say, now, can you tell me when you have a lot of your ladies events coming up in the next couple of weeks? I would like to come over and see if there's some ways that I can come and attend. And all of a sudden they were like, oh yeah, yeah, hang on, Cindy. Let me look at the calendar and I'll tell you what's going on. They knew me by my first name. Okay. I always had on my whatever I was wearing, I always had my name. Never be afraid to put who you are out there. Okay. And I would say, they say, oh, Cindy, so they're having a big event over at the other hotel. I probably shouldn't tell you about it because I'll get in trouble here, but they're having another one over there. Maybe you could go over there for a couple of hours too. You guys, use your own backyard. If you sit in your house all day long, first of all, it gets boring. Second of all, I mean, my house I have a big yard to walk through, but I can't walk right now. But I'm going to tell you something. I love people. George and I, we were belly to belly people back in the industry days. And I'm telling you, I learned a lot from meeting and greeting people. I constantly would say, hey, how's your day going? People would say, well, oh, it's okay. And I said, well, would you like to make it better? Would you like to make it better? So many people out there, you guys, are dissatisfied with their life, or they're just going through life because their life is miserable. They already hate their jobs and they've only been educated for 2 years or 2 weeks or 2 months. And they can't even imagine doing that for 40 years. And that's what I said to a couple of young guys. I said, look, y'all just got out of high school. Are you happy with what your plans are for the next 2 to 3 years? No, I can't even get a job. I put in 11 applications, Cindy. I can't even get a job. I said, well, you can with me. I said, I'm hiring every single day. Every single day I'm hiring. I said, every single day we're adopting people to come in and be a part of our business. We adopt daily. We even had t-shirts that said that. People would walk up and, what do you mean you're adopting daily? They thought we were an adoption agency. No, we're adopting daily for what it is that we do. And you have the ability to do that. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you so much. I love your energy because I have that energy too. I'm taking what you did.
All right. Good job. Good job.
By the way, one of the things, cool thing about the kinetics that the box is very colorful. You can have that there also.
I just set that up at a place. I went to a place of business and we had the back room and set up some tables and just set out the folders they gave us with the little the shaker bottles and all of that, and all the boxes empty, and we had the packages already set up with the sampling, and people are like, what is that? What is that? Because it is very colorful, you guys, very colorful.
Anybody else want to comment or have any comment or any question?
All right, you guys, you have an awesome day, and keep Camp Maddux in your prayers. It starts next Thursday. I could definitely use your prayers to get through it.
Super, super.
All right, you guys.
Okay, everybody, make sure if you can be in the call today at 11 o'clock Mountain Time. This is the new AI. This is the third training. Also, tonight we have the opportunity night, and then tomorrow we are going to be having the social media where we are probably going to go through the app through the AI app. But anyway, thank you very much,
And
everybody.
George, real quick, is the
go ahead.
AI training on the same channel that we're here now?
No, there is a link on the tree wall.
Okay.
And George, are those going to be recorded, the AI trainings?
Yeah, they always they're recorded. They are in the wall, the ones that they had in the past 2 weeks.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Cindy.
Bye, guys.
Bye, love.
Bye-bye.
Perfect.
Good job, Cindy.
Okay, everybody, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.